Hello everyone.
Hi friends, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we're here today on the end of week 11. Second week past transmittal, and things are, the speed is still up there. And there's a pretty new theme for this week in House Bill 632, which has to do with some of the money that is coming from the COVID stimulus package from the federal government. There's been a lot of discussion about that one. See some folks tuning in, so while you're tuning in, just comment and let us know what you're up to. Let us know if you had a good St. Patrick's Day. We sure did up here in Helena.
That's right. Today's a bit of a gray day, but we had a sunny day yesterday.
Yes.
It was really warm, and I think that really helps the legislature realize that it's time to get out of town. So they're not going to get out of town anytime real soon, probably, but it does help people remember that spring is coming, or it's here, and a lot of the farmer and rancher members really want to get back to work. So as Rachel mentioned, we did see a little shift in the movement of bills. Last week we testified on about 20 bills, I think we told you, which really is about a third of the bills that we worked in the first half. So that is a good sign of us moving quickly through the process. This week there were still quite a few bill hearings. We got to support the governor's business equipment tax relief bill in Senate Finance and Claims. There's a few other bills that have come back around, including the meat processing bill regarding interstate compacting of meat. It's been amended after it came out of the House to prevent it from violating federal law. So we were able to, we have a little visitor here.
A cat jumps on
a
our
neighborhood
porch.
cat. But we were able to support the bill and had a good discussion in the committee about all of the things that have been brought on or highlighted by the COVID pandemic. And then there's several other bills. I'll let Rachel talk about some of those. But then, like she said, a major focus of this week was discussing the ARPA funds. So ARPA is the federal bill that was passed, the American Rescue Plan Act, and it is the $1.9 trillion COVID or stimulus or whatever you want to call it package that was recently passed in Washington, D.C. And of that, about $3 billion are coming to Montana. So we have a little less than that. But that's about, not far off from our total state budget. So that is actually taking a lot of attention of the legislature. They're treating it a lot like House Bill 2, breaking it down, talking about the needs, and figuring out ways to use it in ways that will be beneficial to Montana and have positive long-term effects instead of any unforeseen effects.
I see a question on here, but I can't quite read it. What are the chances of an extra session later in the year to allocate new federal ARPA monies? I think that's a great question.
That's a great question. There's a lot of talk. I mean, there's been talk this session about like if they're going to take a break right now, or not right now, but at some point in order for folks to have some more time to break it down. I think last week that seemed a little bit more likely, but now it seems they're going to stay in session and work through this. There is a good chance that they will try to save 15 or 20 days at the end of the session that then could be used to help discuss and allocate additional or unallocated federal funds. So, we've had conversations with people who are in the know, and nobody's telling us exactly what's going to happen because everything's so fluid. Yeah. But it's a possibility for sure. But I think there's a mindset where people want to just stay here and get it done, and if you let people go away, then they get in a different mindset. And then there's the other mindset of like, well, let's wait and see and come back. But I have confidence that leadership is going to choose the right path, and we'll just respond accordingly.
Yes, we can't make any predictions for the future, but we'll definitely be around to make sure that we're here and sharing the voice, whether it's during this time or if they decide to have some time later on.
We could make some predictions. Maybe we could start a
betting pool.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'm willing to put my money down,
Me
but
neither.
I'll coordinate it.
Yeah, I'll take a little cut. No.
Okay. A couple other bills that we had going on this week. One of them was Senate Bill 164, which we did oppose, but after working with the sponsor, we're hopeful to see some amendments come along that would actually take our opposition away. That one has to do with nitrate discharge in groundwater. So right now agriculture is kind of kept in, there's kind of a couple sections in the bill that have to do with nitrate discharge, and a lot of that focus is on septic systems and the different kinds of septic systems and how they're treated. And then there's kind of an extra section about other sources outside of septic. So what this bill does is it wrapped everybody into one sort, so there's not these separate sections, so it's all sources, and then as well it changed the milligrams per liter of discharge. So the DEQ, they weren't really comfortable with that change in numbers, and on our side, we weren't really comfortable with agriculture being grouped into that. So we talked to the sponsor, and we are hearing that there will be some amendments coming that would take away our concerns. So then the milligrams per liter would go back to 7.5, and we would go back to being in sources outside of the septic. So that's really important. Agriculture does not discharge a lot of nitrates, so for us to be grouped into something like septic, which does, concerns us, because then it would take our insignificant amount and kind of place it up with the higher contributors, and we wanted to make sure that didn't happen. So we're hopeful to see those amendments and hopeful to be able to not have to oppose that bill. The other one that was kind of big this week was about pollinators and what they do and how we can protect them. So on ag's standpoint, we know how important pollinators are and what they contribute to agriculture and to the everything as a whole, and so we want to make sure that we can do things that can protect them. Unfortunately, the bill that was proposed as drafted also has some amendments coming, so I don't want to go too far into the details why we opposed it, but
some significant ones,
yeah,
it sounds like.
Yeah, so, but that was one of them, and we are hopeful to see some of the amendments with that one. And that's part of the great process of how all this stuff works up here in Helena, is that things are ever changing, and so we have the ability to work with the sponsors and a lot of the other groups, including the other ag groups, can do that work, and we can work together to make sure that agriculture is protected, as well as the goal of the sponsor. There's a couple, like Nicole said, there's a couple other bills that we've talked about before that have come back around or will come back around later this afternoon.
But we want to answer your questions. Yeah. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so if you're listening, if you're tuning in, again,
I just peeked up.
I don't see any questions on there, but
one thing I will share with you is that we got to support a couple more confirmations this week, which was very exciting, and they've already been confirmed by the Senate Ag Committee. We predict they'll go ahead and be confirmed by the full Senate very soon, which is very positive. First, the governor's appointees to the Board of Livestock, including Jake Fettis and Greg Wichman. Jake will fill one of the cattle seats, and Greg one of the sheep seats, or the only sheep seat. So we were very pleased to be able to support them. They both came up in person, which I think is really important. They visited with the committee, answered questions, and just had a really good hearing. And so we look forward to finalizing those appointments so that we can have a full board that can get right to work on behalf of the Montana ranchers that they represent and help guide the Department of Livestock in all their decision making. And so that was a really good deal. And then also in Senate Ag, yesterday we were able to support Vince Matson's nomination to the Hail Insurance Board. So Vince was also here in person, did a great job of answering questions and talking about his qualifications for the Hail Insurance Board. He's going to do a great job. They confirmed him right away, and like I said, we'll get him fully confirmed by the Senate very soon. So congratulations to all three of those folks, and also thank you for your willingness to serve. Just like we thank the legislators for their willingness to serve, likewise with board members. Sometimes this is, sometimes it's fun, and sometimes it's a lot of work, and sometimes it's not fun, but it's all very important for your constituency. So thank you.
And then some exciting stuff to look forward to next week is National Ag Week. Montana Farm Bureau plans to be celebrating in lots of different ways, including up at the Capitol. So on Tuesday, it's National Ag Day. We will be supporting or giving legislators some stuff to wear so they can show how proud they are of Montana Ag. And then, of course, as you guys have heard us talk about and you've seen on Facebook lots of times, but I'll remind you one more time, we have our Calling on the Capitol, which is a virtual event. And so you can register via Zoom we'll have a lot of really great speakers on there, including different leadership through legislators and agency directors, and as well as Lieutenant Governor Kristen Juris. So we're really excited about that, and hopeful that you will join us in that. And if you have questions about that, feel free to comment that. I'm sure we can get some answers to those too, aside from just the bills we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions coming up, but we thank you for tuning in. The legislature is scheduled the 90th day as not until May 11th, but I do believe we will, work through it a bit faster. We'll keep you updated on that. I know everybody's curious about it, but those things are ever changing. And, I see I have a meeting coming up at 11, so we probably better tune off unless there's anything else. So
if you're listening later on, you can comment your questions there as well. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and happy Friday, happy weekend. Hopefully there's some more sunshine tomorrow.
Or even better, rain.
That'd be great too.
Yeah. Thank you.